Réunion is an island in the Indian Ocean that is an overseas department and region of France. It is located approximately 550 kilometers east of the island of Madagascar and 175 kilometers southwest of the island of Mauritius. As of January 2021, it had a population of 858,450. Like the other four overseas departments, Réunion also holds the status of a region of France, and as an integral part of the French Republic. Réunion is an outermost region of the European Union and is part of the Eurozone. Réunion and the fellow French overseas department of Mayotte are the only Eurozone regions located in the southern hemisphere. As in the rest of France, the official language of Réunion is French. In addition, a majority of the region's population speaks Réunion Creole. When France took possession of the island in the 17th century, it was named Bourbon, after the dynasty that was then ruling the island. To break with this name, which was too attached to the ancient regime, the National Convention decided on March 23, 1793, to rename the territory Réunion Island. This choice could have been made in homage to the meeting of the Federates of Marseille and the Parisian National Guards that preceded the insurrection of August 10, 1792, and the march on the Tuileries Palace. But no document justifies it, and the meaning of the word meeting could have been purely symbolic. The island changed its name to Réunion Island on March 23, 1791. The island changed its name again in the 19th century. In 1806, under the First Empire, General Deccan named it Île Bonaparte, and in 1810 it became Île Bourbon again. It became Réunion Island once and for all after the fall of the July monarchy by a decree of the Provisional Government of March 7, 1848, in accordance with the original spelling and the classical spelling and typographical rules. Le Réunion was written with a lowercase in the article. But during the end of the 20th century, the spelling, Le Réunion, with a capital letter was developed in many writings to emphasize the integration of the article in the name. This last spelling corresponds to the recommendations of the Commission nationale de toponymie and appears in the current constitution of the French Republic in Articles 72-3 and 73. The island has been inhabited since the 16th century, when people from France and Madagascar settled there. Slavery was abolished on the 20th of December 1848, when the French Second Republic abolished slavery in the French colonies. However, indentured workers continued to be brought to Réunion from South India. Among other places, the island became an overseas department of France in 1946. Not much is known of Réunion's history prior to the arrival of the Portuguese in the early 16th century. Arab traders were familiar with it by the name Dina Morgaben, Western Island. The island is possibly featured on a map from 1153 AD by Al-Sharif el-Edrisi. The island might also have been visited by Swahili or Austronesian sailors on their journey to the west from the Malay archipelago to Madagascar. The first European discovery of the area was made around 1507 by Portuguese explorer Diogo Fernandes Pereira, but the specifics are unclear. The uninhabited island might have been first sighted by the expedition led by Dom Pedro Mascarenhas, who gave his name to the island group around Réunion. The Mascarenes. Réunion itself was dubbed Santa Apollonia after a favorite saint, which suggests that the date of the Portuguese discovery could have been the 9th of February, her saint day. Diogo Lopes de Sequeira is said to have landed on the islands of Réunion and Rodrigues in 1509. By the early 1600s, nominal Portuguese rule had left Santa Apollonia virtually untouched. The island was then occupied by France and administered from Port Louis, Mauritius, although the first French claims date from 1638, when François Couture and Salomon Gobert visited in June 1638. The island was officially claimed by Jacques Pronis of France in 1642, when he deported a dozen French mutineers to the island from Madagascar. The convicts were returned to France several years later, and in 1649, the island was named Île Bourbon after the French royal house of Bourbon. Colonization started in 1665, when the French East India Company sent the first settlers. On March 19, 1793, during the Revolution, its name was changed to Reunion Island, in homage to the meeting of the Federates of Marseille and the National Guards of Paris. During the march on the Tuileries Palace on August 10, 1792, and to erase the name of the Bourbon dynasty, on September 26, 1806, the island took the name of Bonaparte and found itself in the front line of the Franco-British conflict for the control of the Indian Ocean. The abolition of slavery voted by the National Convention on February 4, 1794 was rejected by Reunion Island, as well as by the Île-de-France. A delegation accompanied by military forces, charged with imposing the liberation of slaves, arrived on the island of Bou.